Hello and welcome or welcome back to my wonderful fellow crafters of the Craftyverse. It's Terry, Vigs Tears, back with another crafty video for you. In today's video I'm going to be using this My Favourite Things Beautiful Bloom card kit, which comes with some lovely sentiments, this beautiful simple bloom stamp, the die to cut it out, the sentiment of beautiful and the shadow to cut that out, which will probably also cut out the big beautiful word as well. Inside here, well, on the front we have a description of the contents of the kit, and also some ideas of different ways that it can be used. It's also got some beautiful colours of heavyweight cardstock in here. So basically, the focus of this video is I'm going to create 3 different cards using the same stamp. So you don't have to have this stamp kit. You don't have to have a stamp that looks like this. It could be that you have a floral stamp or just a nice design like a mandala or mandala, however you say it. But the idea is I'm going to create 3 completely different cards just using the same items. So I've got some ideas already, but join me and see what I come up with. Okay, so to start off with, I've decided that all 3 projects today are going to be done on watercolour card and will involve heat embossing. So these 2 panels are quite similar, other than, as you can see on this panel, I didn't manage to get the centre of the flower, but that's fine because I can put the sentiment there, so I can cover that. This one, so that's obviously in a detail gold embossing powder, so it's got a lovely shimmer to it. This one is a turquoise lagoon, which is from Tonic Studios, and this is heat embossed in clear powder over VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink. So what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to use some Nouveau shimmer powder, which it says on the packaging creates beautiful metallic colour bursts. So I have this in a few different colours actually, and I've used it on a couple of projects before, and they're amazing, like the different colours that come out of them. So I might actually use a few different colour ones. This one I'm going to colour in my Zig Clean Colour Real Brush pens because I haven't used them in a while and I've been wanting to. And this one, again, I'm going to watercolour this, and I'm probably going to use my Gansai Tambi Starry Colours set. So I'm going to start with this one and get out my messy mat. So my messy mat is great. It's from Craft Stash, and it's heat resistant and it's wipeable, and it's basically what I do all my messy things on. So I'm just going to have a quick look at my other colours of shimmer powders. So I've used this one before, Lilac Waterfall, which has got all these different colours in there. Jade Fountain seems to have more greens and a bit of yellow in there. And then I've also got, I think this Falling Leaves might be nice as well, which again is new, so I'm opening that up. Falling Leaves, which has got sort of greens and a bit of sort of purple tones in there. So it seems to have a bit more. It's tricky because I'm tempted to go with Lilac Waterfall, but I think I'm just going to have a play, guys, to be honest. I am going to have a play. So first, there's 2 ways you can use it. You can either puff a few bits of the powder on first and then apply the water, or you can do it in the reverse. So I'm going to spray this quite generously with my little water spray bottle. And I'm going to try and just do some small little, yes, I'm going to try and do some small ones, she says. Wow, that looks amazing. That looks gorgeous. I've kept my heat tool handy as well in case I want to use that, because you can layer this up basically, but it has to be, you know, dry in between, obviously, if you're wanting to add layers. But I've also got kitchen towel handy to mop up anything. So we're just playing, guys, and seeing what sort of effects we're gonna get. I'd love to know how to get just a tiny bit of this powder out rather than getting loads out, but never mind. So that is with the purple. Which I think looks nice. I'm going to go with my gut instinct and try a bit of this jade fountain. Oh, there's golden bits in there. Try and get a bit more of this darker purple up here. Oh, and let's just go for it. We might as well add some falling leaves as well, hey? I don't want it to get muddy. It's getting a bit muddy. If I mix too much, I don't want that. I think that falling leaves was too green. Yeah, no, that didn't go nicely, but the other two do. So I'm gonna give this a little encouragement with my heat tool. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And I do want a bit more vibrancy. I love this effect around here, the way that the lilac waterfall has sort of dispersed. So this is the thing, it's like, it's quite tricky to, or I don't know if I'm using the best method to to get it to come out. Do you know what I mean? It seems to like puff off in one direction. And this is a very different style for me. I'm not really, I'm dipping my toes in. I'm learning more about mixed media type things. So, you know, it's fine if, you know, I'm just going to keep working at this until I'm getting effects that I like. Oh, yeah, see, that's looking nicer. I think I also want to add some glimmer paste over this as well to make it a bit more sparkly. And I might do that because I want to do something to add some definition, because I don't want these florals to get completely lost. So I'm going to call that one semi-done for the moment. I'm going to let it air dry rather than heat tool it, and then just ponder on that a little bit more and come back to it later to finish off with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is to do some colouring with my Zig Clean Colour Real Brush pens. I've picked out 3 colours, light pink, pink and dark pink. I think I'm actually going to just use, because with the Zig Clean Colour Real Brush pens, if you haven't used them before, you can use them as watercolours, so blend them out with water, or you can actually blend them out with each other. So I think I'll try that first and then see how I get on. You'll see what I mean as we go. If you've never used these, they're absolutely lovely to work with because they have a real brush, so it's like painting with a real brush, and if you like that, you know, it's just wonderful. And I say you blend out the colours. See, we've gone from dark pink to pink, and it's like a seamless blend. And you don't have to worry about contaminating the tips either, because you just rub off the pen on a bit of scrap paper, and the other colour comes off, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But it's nice to have a play with these because I haven't in a long time. And because I've heat embossed this, I mean, if I were using water to blend them, the heat embossing sort of acts as like a little barrier, like to stop the water going over onto the next petal. So usually if you're watercolouring, you wouldn't be able to colour 2 petals next to each other. You'd have to wait for it to dry, but you don't with these. So I think this one's going to be quite a clean and simple card, just with the sort of the lovely pretty image of the flower, and then a nice simple sentiment. And if I didn't mention before, the watercolour card that I'm using is from Tonic Studios. It's the A2 watercolour pad, which is really handy. You know, it's got this quite textured side and a less textured side. So I'm just sort of playing about with the colours. Using a bit of darker pink here, which I'll then blend out with the middle one. Obviously I'm not going to make you watch all of this, but just thought that the start bit would be interesting for you. The colours are so vibrant as well, it's really, really beautiful. So I've been spending a lot more time recently using my alcohol markers. I went through a real phase of that, but then I was watching a video the other day on YouTube and it reminded me, I think it was Jennifer Maguire talking about when she had discovered the pens, and it suddenly reminded me, oh, I've got those pens and I love them and I haven't used them in ages. So it was a really good reminder, and I have been meaning to get out and have a play. So I thought it would be perfect for this video to obviously show three different ways with one stamp. And that's the whole point of this, really, is just to show how versatile our supplies are, and to sort of think of, you know, maybe give you some inspiration of different ways to use them, different ways to use things that you already have. Because if you're anything like me, you sometimes just forget about, you know, what you do have, and, you know, maybe if you're sort of feeling in a bit of a rut, or, you know, whenever I feel in a bit of a creative rut, I like to watch videos and look at other people's work, and then you know, sometimes I think, oh, I've got that stamp set, you know, I haven't used that in ages, or yeah, I haven't done that in a while, and it's nice. So today's 3 cards are all going to be, so completely different, you know, to show that versatility, really. And I'd be really grateful, actually, if you could leave me any comments in the comment section below and let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see from me, because I've been sort of thinking about my upcoming content plan. I've got a few videos in the pipeline, but, you know, it's just it'd be really nice to hear from, you know, my regular viewers, what you'd like to see more of. It'd be a great help to me if you wouldn't mind doing that. Right, there we go. So I'm pleased with how that's coming along. I think that looks really pretty. So I've gone in and coloured this lovely flower. I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. You can see that subtle shine from the black heat embossing, and I also added in a blue grey, which I used the tip to tip technique, whereby you touch the darkest colour to another colour that you want to use, which it picks up some of the colour and makes it darker. So I used that because I wasn't happy enough with the contrast between the very dark parts and the lightest parts. It's slightly warped at the moment because I've just heat embossed it again, because I noticed that there were a couple of areas around here where the powder hadn't fully where the powder hadn't fully melted. But that's no problem at all, because I can just run that through my die cutting machine and that'll flatten it straight out, so it'll be fine, no problem. Also with the other image, you remember that this area hadn't stamped at all, so I thought I had lined the stamp up perfectly, but I hadn't. But it, you know, I've got it sort of looking a bit better anyway than it was before, you know, which just gives a few more options. So I think for this one, I'm going to do a mixture of the zigs and my Gansai Tambi Starry colours. So they're going to be sort of orangey with some golden tones in there. So on that note, I'm going to get out my little palette of water, select some pens, and then I'll be back in a moment, and I'll show you a little bit of the painting, and then we'll stop and come back together with the 3 completed cards. So I have the colours bright yellow, which is actually sort of like a pale orange, and carmine red. And I've also got a water brush. So I'm going to start playing. So let's have a look. I'm going to start in the middle. They're so much fun to colour these images, by the way. Really not difficult at all. As you can see, you can get a beautiful blend. And I say you are able to do that tip to tip technique as well, where you can pick up colour from another brush that's dark as it to sort of mix them together too that way. So they're really versatile. I do really like them. They're not particularly cheap, but you can buy them singly, so you know, if it's something that you're interested in, you could buy a couple and see if you like them, see if they're your kind of thing. And if you enjoy painting with brushes, I think you might like these, because it really does feel like you're just painting with a paintbrush. It's just you don't have to go in and pick up any colour, because it's all there for you. And then as you can see here, because I was doing the tip to tip technique, you just sort of wipe off the brush and clean it off afterwards, and you're grand. Lovely. Okay, so see what I mean? It just gives like a bit more, gives you sort of like a medium. And then between the two, so it's really good for the darker areas. Which is obviously going to be the very inner bits of the petals. Yeah. And then you just sort of wipe off, and you've got back to normal. And there we go. So that's a little bit of colouring. So I'm going to turn the camera off now, and then come back with, I'll probably come back when I start working on the leaves on the other panel, on the more mixed media one. Show you a bit of what I'm going to do on that one, and then come back with the completed 3 cards. See you in a bit. So I've coloured both images now using the Zig Clean Colour Real brush pens, and I'm just going to go in with my Gansai Tambi Starry Colours palette with this Altenew refillable water brush. You can just use any old paintbrush. In fact, I have got some paintbrushes right next to me, so I might switch over to that. But I'm just going to go in and add a bit of shine and shimmer. So I've sprayed a bit of water into each of the pans just to sort of give them a bit of life. Well, I think I'm going to go with, let's try a bit of this yellow gold first. Yeah, that looks nice and pretty. Sort of the effect I was hoping for. So I'm just going to go into the petals and just sort of give them a bit of a shimmer and a sparkle, really. Yeah, that looks pretty. I'm just doing it on the sort of lighter areas of the petals, really. And so with the gold heat embossing that I've done, that sort of should prevent any bleed through. We'll get a piece of kitchen towel though, just to dab off any areas that it's a bit heavier than I would have liked. As I say, I'm not doing anything particularly intricate or difficult, just adding literally a little bit of shimmer to the edges of the petals just to sort of make it pop. I'll also add some splatter to the background, so a bit of gold splatter, and then pick a nice sentiment. I think with a card like this, it's really versatile as well. It could be used for many different occasions. But I think I'll turn it into a birthday card. Yeah. Great, so I'm going to go and finish this and then I'll be back in a short while. Okay, my crafty friends, so this is what the panel looks like that I made yesterday with the heat embossed in this gorgeous lagoon colour, and then using the 3 different shimmer powders from Nuvo. And actually, it is a really lovely panel as it is, and I think that could quite easily go on a card and look beautiful. But what I want to do is to go in with some different media. I've picked out a aquamarine embellishment mousse, a sea sprite glacier paste, and just a plain winter white glacier paste as well, because I'd really like to bring these elements forward a bit. So I'm going to use these as paints and sort of paint them on and sort of see how that looks, just to not colour in the whole flowers necessarily, but just to sort of see what I can do to bring them more to the fore. So get a little palette knife and put a bit of this into a little palette along with some water. Just do a small amount to start with, because you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So, and then I'll leave the white for the moment in case we don't need it. But I mean, this glacier paste, it's if you haven't used it before, it's just lovely and it's so versatile. You can just, in fact, I've got a tiny bit on my finger, so I'll show you. You can just go in and add like a tiny bit with your finger, and it's got so much mica in it that it gives a really lovely sheen, if you can see that in the top corner there. Yeah, look at my finger, see how shiny it is. It's really gorgeous. And obviously with the shimmer powders, it's already got a lot of glimmer to it, so it's lovely. I'm going to do a bit more down here actually, balance it out. And it's nice with the texture of the watercolour paper being sort of up and down. That feels quite nice working with that. Yeah. So the more mixed media styly type things that are newer to me, but I do love to try new things, and I love playing about with things in my favourite colours, so that always helps. I'm going to add some sprays of water to this embellishment mousse and use my water brush to water it down to make it into a paint, something that I, you know, a medium that I can paint with. Again, these embellishment mousses, I love them. They're so versatile, you know, spreading them through a stencil or just sort of applying them straight on. They're great. They're really versatile. I've got, you know, some basic colours, gold, silver, and again, you get them sometimes in the monthly tonic craft kits, which is a great way, you know, to try out new products if you might not want to invest in something, you know, without having used it. Right, so that's not really showing up very much, is it? I'm just trying to sort of mix a bit of a mixture of the two to see how I like that. Because obviously then you get the colour from the embellishment mousse, but the shimmer from the glacier paste. Yeah, I quite like that. So I'm sort of just going for a mixture of the two and seeing what happens. Yeah, so it's just bringing a bit more definition to some of the petals. But I don't want to do it to all of them. Because some of the effects on some of the petals is really, really beautiful. So I wouldn't want to hide that. Yeah, I'm liking that. And the way it looks so different as it tilts in the light. I think I've put too much water in this embellishment mousse because I've painted with it before and it's come out a lot thicker, which is more what I want. So I'm going to add a bit more. And again, that'll just give us a bit more variation in texture as well. And hopefully a bit of a darker colour, more of the sort of aquamarine. Yeah, when I've used it before, I've just sort of picked it up and sort of done that with it. Obviously we don't want big clumps of it, but yeah, that's more of the effect I was going for. And it's a different type of shimmer. Obviously the glimmer paste is has a lot of mica, whereas the embellishment mousse, it does have a shimmer, but it's more of a matte finish. So sort of, I guess, like the difference between a mirror card and a matte mirror card. It's that kind of difference. Yeah. See, it's solidifying the flower a bit more and bringing it a bit more to the front, which is what I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm happy with this. So you can see how, comparing the two flowers, this one just comes more forward, and it's more sort of obvious that it's a flower rather than just an outline. That I felt like it just got a bit lost in the very busy background. So I'm just going to continue playing around with these, the embellishment mousse and the glacier paste, and I shall be back in a short while with some finished cards. And welcome back, my fellow crafters. So all cards are now completed, and I actually ended up with a bonus card, so we've got 4 cards, not 3. So the first one, I just kept it very clean and simple. I had coloured it with the 4 colours, as you saw. I then trimmed it down a bit, put it onto, I cut out a piece of textured thinnish cardstock, which sort of looks nice, goes nicely with the floral colours, and then I put that onto an A6 note card, and then I just trimmed it down a bit, basically, so it's a bit shorter than an A6 card, and then I just made just a very simple happy birthday sentiment, and then heat embossed that and popped it up on a few different layers, a few layers of black scraps of card. So that's the one floral, so simple but effective, I think. The second card I've made was this one with where I'd coloured the 2 blooms in oranges. I then you then saw me go in with the Gansai Tambi starry colours and add some gold onto the areas of the petals, the lightest areas of the petals. I then did some splatter using a few different colours from that set. And then I decided to heat emboss Happy Birthday Friend, and then cut out the beautiful sentiment in a Tonic Studios cardstock, which is a really lovely, shiny, beautifully bright gold. I then made a card blank out of the some card from the kit, which I think sort of really helps it pop, so I'm really pleased with that one too. Then the last card that you saw me working on was this one. So again, if you can see that if I tilt it in the light, the amount of different textures and shimmer and shine and colour on that, I'm really pleased with it. So I didn't colour in each and every petal, but I just think it helps. It helped to define the blooms a bit and bring them forwards a bit. But equally, you know, it did look nice with just the heat emboss outlines of the blooms as well. I think it's just personal preference. I could have gone either way with it, really. Again, I used the Intricate Beautiful die. I cut 2 layers of the purple, the same that I used to make the card blank, and then one sort of a drop shadow layer using the pink to pick up the elements of pink in there. And I chose this lovely sentiment, "Friends like you make the world beautiful," from included in the kit. And then I've added some Cloud9 Nouveau Dream drops because it's just the perfect choice. These lovely, if you haven't tried Dream drops, they're lovely because they've got that iridescence to them. So there's that. And then what happened is, after I'd coloured in the blooms and I was going to set about doing the cleaning, there was quite a bit of glacier paste and embellishment paste left, and you know me, I don't like waste. So I decided to scoop it all out onto my messy mat. I sprayed it with a few sprays of water, got my palette knife in to sort of smush down the embellishment mousse, and then I got another panel of A2 watercolour paper, well, a watercolour cardstock, and smushed it all over, and then I left that to dry overnight, and the next day I was left with this beautiful panel. So I decided to turn that into a card. So we've actually got a bonus card. We've got 4 cards. If I hold you like really close to the camera, you can see the texture, like where some areas have got more of the embellishment mousse than others, and some are more shimmery. I then stamped. I didn't heat emboss this one. I just stamped the bloom again in Versamark Onyx Black ink, and again I used the Zig Clean Colour Real Brush pens in a few shades of purple and blue, and I used some Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen to make that a bit shimmery. I then cut 3 or 4. I cut it out with the corresponding die, and then cut 3 or 4 more, so it's quite textured. You can see there it's mounted up nicely. And then this U, the Happy Birthday to You, is from another stamp kit from a recent video, so I'll link that video up here for you to see. But I really liked this and I hadn't used it, so I stamped in again in the Versamark Onyx Black in the Versamark Onyx Black this big U, but because of all of the mica underneath, it wasn't stamping very crisply. But I thought, okay, let's work with this. Let's see how we can make it work. So I went in and I added loads of Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen all over here, and then covered it in Nouveau Crystal Glaze. And it's given this lovely shimmery black diamond kind of effect. And then I simply added a few sequins in the matching colour, in that lovely tropical oasis colour that I really like. So we've ended up with not 1, not 2, not 3 as advertised, but 4 cards. But I'm really pleased with these. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Do you have a favourite? Have you picked up any tips and techniques? Are you surprised at how versatile just using 1 stamp can be? Because that was the whole point of this video, really, was to sort of look at a simple thing that everyone will have in their stash, some sort of, you know, nice image. It doesn't have to be a flower, as I said earlier, just some sort of image, and then just trying to use it in different ways. So I hope that I've achieved that, and I hope I've given you some inspiration and some tips. So if you have enjoyed the video, please use your thumbs and give it a like, and just leave me any questions or comments that you'd like to in the comment section below, including if there's anything in particular that you would like to see from me. So yeah, that's all from me today. Hope everyone's well, keeping well and safe, and I'll be back soon with another crafty video for you. So bye for now, take care, bye.